ukiangalia mse akaniuliza the other day, Gen Z wamewezaje kufanya Kenya wamefanya, and I was telling them something, that there is always in a place or in a setup or in a family or even in a country, there's always a person or a group of people who are in a position to take the action for the liberation that leads to the liberation or salvation of their people. One time it was Jesus Christ in heaven, ambao watu walikuwa wanajaribu ku open book in the book of Revelation. Kuna kitabu kinafunguliwa, malaika wamejaribu, nobody can be able to open the book. Jesus was the only one who could be able to open the book. He, having been the only person able to open the book, then he is the only person in a position to come kwa hii dunia to liberate his people. He's to take the action that liberates his people. That is go to the cross and all of that. Another time, ilikuwa ni mse, Jews were being exterminated in the Bible. They were set for extermination in the Bible in the times of mse alikuwa anaitwa Haman. Huyu mse anataka ku exterminate the Jews, and wase wamepanga venye Jews on a day they will be exterminated. Then Mordecai happens to know about the thing. Now alipojua shida ni wase wengi wako in government, Jews wako in different positions, capacities, maybe they are doing different kind of works, normal work in a kingdom, but nobody is in a position to take action for liberation of the Jews apart from one person, niece wake ambaye anaitwa Esther. Esther is the queen. Now she cannot say, I'm just the orphan who was left and I don't have any power, I don't have. But you're set in a position, your position right now, you are the closest to the king. You don't have to make these long appointments to the king. Unaambiwa next year ama next December, and by that time it is too late for the Jews. Now our people, you can now make, you are in a position to take that action. At a certain point alikuwa akaambiwa na Mordecai, lest how do you know that you are in the kingdom, or you came to the kingdom for such a time as this? Now, she was the only one who could. Gen Z now, the other generations, the millennials would have wanted to take this type of action. Baby boomers would have taken this type of action. None could have been able to do it. Why? The meeting of millennials, in the time of millennials walikuwa naishi kwa timeline yenye hakuna TikTok, yenye easy, hakuna enough network around across the country, the infrastructure ipo, awareness, there's so many things that were hindering them, and the only type of meeting they would have met was a physical meeting. Ni ngumu sana watu thao bila chief kukua hapo, mzee wa nyumba 10, mapolisi. So millennials couldn't. Usiongee kuhusu hizo boomers na nani generations zingine, then it was even impossible. The closest would have been millennials, but now they were hindered by something called tribalism. So because they were still thinking within the tribal, because they never interacted with each other to break tribe barriers. They never interacted with each other for so long to break class barriers. So millennials still utapata a lot element ya tribe na a lot element. So ili uko millennials, you needed their tribal kings, you needed their chama fulani ndio iwaite. But comes the Gen Z wanakuta sasa infrastructure imefika mahali, imeundwa, mneti iko kila mahali, wamesoma wote, na mtu hata hajasoma ambaye ni Gen Z hajasoma lakini ako na mneti. So what happens on net, na internet is cheap, not only is available but also it's cheap. So unakuta mtu wa Gen Z hata kama hajasoma ako exposed, ako informed, ako enlightened. Ukibonga naye huwezi jua hata education level yake, ni ngumu kujua. Why? Sababu mse ako exposed. Mse hahitaji kusoma, kumuelezea maneno so hard ndio aelewe kile unasema. Mse ako already, mind yake insha interact na vitu mingi, na wase wengi werevu kwa mneti to the extent that mse anaelewa vitu. So Gen Z wanaweza meet kwa TikTok ama kwa X, wanaweza meet pamoja all over the country at the same time, wanabonga lugha the same. Millennials walikuwa na wase wanaitangwa bontao, unasikia ni bonti, meaning bontao ni mse amezaliwa mara mingi Kanairo na anabonga kikitu kilugha fulani wase wengine waelewi, shenge ndo anaelewa. But saa hii with Gen Z hakuna bontao, sababu ukienda majenzi wa nini wa Eldoret wanafanana tu na Wakanairo, wanabonga tu almost kama Wakanairo, wako na the same message kama ya Kanairo. The world is flat. Ile milima zilikuwa zinazuia the same generation of people in Eldoret na Nairobi na kila mahali away from urban centers waweze ku get information the same at the same time, na wakuwe na exposure level the same, na waweze kubonga lugha the same. Ni ati hawakuwa connected, they were not well connected. And mwenye alikuwa na smartphone ni mzazi, na hata mzazi yako na smartphone alikuwa na katululu, so ingewezekana. But right now Gen Z ni wase wa young na wote wako na smartphone na wako na, there's a lot of, na wako na mneti, there's a lot of access. Ukiangalia millennials walikuwa naendanga cyber, Gen Z no longer goes to the cyber unless ni ku print document really. So wanaweza, they were the only one in a position to take the action for liberation. Why? They could speak without chama, they could speak without tribe, they could speak without class, and across the country. Mahali hata kukuangi na maandamano, kukakuwa na maandamano. So it's, they are leaderless, they are faceless, but their leader is their ideology. They have a leader, it's called ideas. They have a leader, it's called, the leader wao ni position yao. Their position right now becomes their leader. That even if you don't have a leader, a physical person speaking, you have a leader called the ideas zenye mna pigania ndo, because leader alikuanga embodiment wa concerns zenyu. Huo ndo alikuanga leader. So unasema leader wetu ni so and so, let's say ni Kalonzo, let's say ni Raila, let's say ni Uhuru ama somebody else. Reason being yeye ndo tunampelekea concerns zetu, and as a leader anatufaitia ninio. It's the embodiment of our concerns. Right now the embodiment of their concerns is their position, that they can come together without even having a leader, but they can speak together and address their concerns as a group, not as a person. They don't really have to have a person addressing their concerns, because as a group they have found a way to address their concerns. They are the only group and the first group to be able to do that. Ugandans are talking about it. That's why Gen Z wa Uganda wamelemewa, wa Tanzania, I saw the other day wa Ghana. Hawawezi, because they are not in the same position as Kenya. Utapata Gen Z wa Uganda na wa Tanzania ama Ghana wako in the same position as millennials 15 years ago. So wako infrastructure I allow internet kukua, so they are not well connected as today. And then again Kenya has made milestones in terms of democracy, that ukiangalia orizo wetu and this probably where they were talking about Gen Z messing up. They don't understand the mess up was not even just even taking them to school. It was wakati wa Kibaki, you wouldn't have done that even if he was here today. Why? Because Kibaki as a president had the presidency had not been demystified. Bado alikuwa president, mse wa kuheshimiwa, mse bazeng, mse wezi joke na yeye. But when the Uhuruto came, Uhuruto ilipokuja ilifanya nini? Uhuruto ilipokuja ili demystify presidency. Ikawa sasa ni mse we are digital, si ni mamorio wenyu wanagoteana na kila mtu, wanakuwa mse mwenye bahati anaweza toa kwa kiti na ni president. Tunaweza kula pamoja, tunaweza kuwa ati tukule ngumu, tu ride boda tu dance pamoja. Mimi ni morio wenyu, tukikampaign mnaweza nibeba na wheelbarrow. So now ulipoingia pale tunajua ni morio wetu So acha usifike pale uanze kucheza vingine ati sasa wewe ni bazoo, now you are Kibaki, you want to, no you are not that. Weni muri, weni jembe teshi, yembe tetu, weni mse wembe tetu. So, but now unafika pale unaanza kuwa president. Now you want to show that now there is the president. Gen Z inalemewa na hiyo because the presidency has been demystified. Tumekuwa tukifanya vitu zimetrend, unatuita, unakuja, unatoa mado na nini vitu zimetrend. So wewe ni mmoja wetu. So now that Gen Z has been the only group of people to have been born in such an era where the president is an accessible person, where the president ni msee mnaweza goteana, where the president ni msee mnaweza kana yeye na akakula mangumu na nyinyi na mahindi na akabebwa na bodaboda. But before, millennials grew in an era, part of it is where the president was this very strict. Then Kibaki, you brought it down, but bado huwezi cheza na Kibaki. Umutu kama huyo anafaa pwagwe makofi. So you can't joke with Kibaki in that sense. And then again the age difference. And then again wametichiwa that mzazi ndo wanabonganga, si wewe. Hawa nao wamekuja kwa era yenye wanabonganga na wazazi wao. They negotiate, they bargain. There was never bargaining with millennials most of the times that on general, there was never bargaining with their parents. Ni mzazi anasema nimesema na hivyo kumeenda. So they are born in a time where they are the only one in a position to take that action. Of course, they shouldn't say it's their ati ni wao wamefanya peke yao. No, wamekuta zile wangedeal na maumau, lakini mse alifanya hivyo on their behalf. Wangedeal na Moi. Millennials were lucky to be Moi akitoka, they were able, probably they were about, sometimes they were about getting the IDs and all of that, so waliingia kwa hiyo siasa na walionja presidency hiyo na toughness ya hiyo regime. Then wamekuta new constitution, so they were not the ones who voted yes for the new constitution. So hizi vitu zote ni baton, wanachukulia baton. So hawezi sema ati now ati hii ni kitu wamefanya wakiwa peke yao. They have to understand that things are done generationally. There are places you will never, and that is why Martin Luther King Jr. alisema, I've gone to the mountain, I think the mountain of the Lord. I have seen the promised land. I may not go there with you, but I am here to, I have seen the promised land. Kuna wase kama Maumau waliona tu promised land, hawakuifika. Sahi grandchildren wao ama great grandchildren wao ndio unapata sasa wanaanza kufika promised land yao, na bado hatujafika, because it's a work in progress. Hii ni kitu ambayo it's a work in progress.